This is William K. Murt, Murt Witness 1, and welcome to Murt on the Trail, Day 2. Now, it turns out this is kind of a rainy Monday morning as I proceed down to the airport. And I did work on my camera angles just a little bit. Let me zoom this out. Because I wanted to get more of the road and less of the sky. I noticed on the video I made yesterday that we were getting a perfectly good view of the sky. So as I test the system out, this is what I do. Now you notice a little black streak going across the windshield, and that is my windshield wiper. It's raining. There's a tropical storm going through, and thus I have the pleasure of once again driving in the rain. It does rain in Florida, and it rains a lot. Up north you guys get rain, they call it snow. And the rain down here evaporates and goes away. The snow up there doesn't evaporate, and it doesn't go away for months. You know, depending on what part of the country you're in. Sometimes you get a dusting of a sheet of snow about a quarter of an inch thick, and then by the afternoon it goes away. But down here, our snow is our liquid sunshine. And I gotta, as I move faster, then I gotta increase the rate of the windshield wipers. So for the bulk of this video, you guys are gonna get to see a windshield wiper going back and forth, kind of like a little metronome. Now there is going to be an interruption in the video here shortly. I got to stop and get some gas, and I'm going to do so when I get down the road here a little bit. And I'll put the thing on pause, get my gas, get back in the car, and we'll go about this again. But I decided I'd try and work my way through town here first. And we're going to come up pretty close on the intersection where the accident was yesterday. And that was this one right up here. Apparently somebody ran a stop sign, or ran the red light or something. Had a pickup truck do it about 10 minutes ago. He had the left-hand arrow turn on. And instead of waiting, he went straight, and he almost broadsided a motorcycle and a few other cars. Well, that would have been a bad thing. I didn't have the phone on then, but, you know, that's one of those things that you got to watch out for down here when driving. Are these people that decided they want to jump start on a red light. That would have been a disaster. So, let's see, I get over in the right-hand lane. Well, because normally I go down to Sam's Club and fill up, but I'm going to stop here at this gas station because getting in and out of Sam's Club at this time of the morning is a little difficult, and with the rain, I want to spare a little time. The difference in gas prices is about 10 cents a gallon anyway, so I'm only going to lose about 25 cents. Is it? I can run a round trip to the airport on $5, and then tomorrow, while I'm out doing my errands, I'll gas up. So we just sit here and we wait and we wait and we wait. This is a first in a long line of red lights. If you don't like that guy's driving, I guess you can call that number. 888. That's funny, in all the years of driving, I had one of those things in the back of my truck. Nobody ever called on me. Yeah. I guess that's an achievement, you know, if you can drive through your driving career and not have somebody call the 888 number and report your bad driving, you're doing okay. All right, here we are at the local racetrack. Gas is 189.9. And low do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull in here, turn the wiper off, and the pump isn't working. Lovely. So we do. So, I may wind up going to Sam's after all. Yeah, I'm gonna go down to Sam's. I hate to do it, but it's just. Probably a better move anyway. I'll go ahead and fill up. I'm leaving plenty early to catch the flight. I don't think I have to worry about that too much. So, no pause just yet. So anyway, raise the phone. Well, don't go out of focus on me. Excuse me while I adjust the phone. I'm going to raise it just a little bit. I was getting just a little bit too much road and too little background. And let's clear it up a little bit. That was an interesting truck on the left. I don't know if you got to see it. It's I can't remember if it's a tool truck or a shoe truck, but it's got very artistic wrap on it. Getting a little bit of a shaky picture. I'm not sure what's causing it. The phone is in a holder and is secure, but whether the phone is floating around or it's just something that has to do with the mechanics of the camera or something, I don't know. Wow, winds are picking up. Camera's having a hell of a time focusing. What is happening is the windshield wiper is causing the autofocus to go berserk. And this is why I don't like Sam's, is I get this long pause at the red light and I can't quite make the right turn that I need to get in the gas station. I gotta wait for the light to change because people are sticking to this right lane for whatever reason. Well, I may have an opportunity right here. It's one nice thing about owning a skinny car. You can squeeze in places. And here we go. And the light changes, so, it's just, I gain a little bit of time. Now, the nice thing about the morning is there usually is not a big wait for gas. Sam's is the lowest price of anywhere, and I happen to be a member of Sam's Club. So gas was running, it's $1.79 today. So, alright, we pull into Sam's. I'm going to go ahead and get my gas, and I'll be back. So, let me pull up here. Ooh. Transit 250. These things make good live trucks. That's why I've been bidding on those lately. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, you're hearing the rustle of me putting my microphone on. Actually, my headset, but it's got a, I have to use this configuration for now instead of a, little wireless mic or some other kind of mic. And I'll resolve that eventually, probably tomorrow. Because every once in a while I'll smack the wire and it tugs up my ear. So now I have my gas. Yeah, this thing, it costs me roughly $25 a week to make my circuit to the airport. And then there's, errands I run during the week, which might bring that up a little bit. But it averages about $20 a week. So it's, this car gets pretty close to 40 miles to the gallon, even with city driving. So that's pretty good. And getting the gas was a relatively quick process, 5 after 9. So I'm still on schedule. The rain has let up a little bit. Yesterday, coming in from the airport to the house, got a little bit of a downpour, and it's an interesting experience to land in the pouring rain and the wind buffeting the aircraft as it comes in. It's kind of like being on a roller coaster at Universal or something. But you fly often enough, you get used to these things. A first-time flyer might have soiled underwear by the time they're done. But, all the years I've been in airplanes for one reason or another, it's kind of routine, kind of adds to the adventure a little bit. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to touch on politics a little bit because it seems that we have a bunch of sore losers in the White House. Now, even back when we had problems with the Bush-Gore debacle, there was at least some movement for the presidential transition because there was a possibility that Bush was going to win and Gore was going to lose. So there were preparations being made for the transitions. As a matter of fact, both president-elects or president nominees or whatever you want to call them hold on a minute. I had to do something real quick here. There was a preparation made on both sides. The presumed winners, as Gore was the presumed winner and Bush was the presumed winner, for the transition, so that when it came time for whoever won to take over the presidency, they were prepared. Well, that doesn't seem to be happening here. There's a lady over at the General Services Administration that is not going to let loose the purse strings so that the Biden administration can start the transition, which is something this country has done for a long, long time. Now, I don't care who you support. You can support Trump or you support Biden, but, this country depends on things running in an orderly manner. Now, there's no harm in allowing Biden to continue with his preparation for office if it turns out that Trump is going to win later on, because all that's going to happen is that they prepared for no reason and they can, quit and Trump can do his thing. But for the sake of the country, for the sake of the security and everything else, it would be rather nice if the Trump administration would quit acting like a spoiled brat and grow up, get their man and women pants on, and let things go forward. Now, today, some lawyers are going to get richer because they insist on filing these lawsuits, the Trump administration. And they're going ahead with their propaganda war, saying that it was a big fraud and yada, yada, yada. And in the end, it is more likely than not that the votes are going to be certified. Trump is going to be shown to have lost the election. And maybe at some point, the temper tantrums will stop and the grown-ups will finally take over the reins and drive this country in the direction it's supposed to be going in and get the business that is supposed to be done. Now it looks like everybody that was waiting for their stimulus check might as well forget it, because Mitch McConnell said that there are going to be no stimulus checks. He says, well, since the economy is coming back with a vengeance, there's no need for the stimulus check. Other than the fact he misses out the common sense facts that because of the economy being south to begin with, a lot of people are broke. And the stimulus would help people pay their bills, maybe stay in the house instead of getting evicted, and stuff like that. But that kind of thing didn't dawn on Mr. McConnell. So, you know, all those people that voted for Mitch McConnell, I don't understand it. It happened. There's something weird going on in Kentucky. Must be something in all that booze that they drink. You know, maybe the Kentucky moonshine warps some brains or something. I don't know. But Mitch McConnell has been in office for quite a long time. He's been in office since a lot of today's voters were even born. And yet people keep voting this idiot in. And it's the same thing with Bob Graham. You keep voting in these morons. These guys that are as old as me or older. You know, it's going to get to a point where these senators are going to start dying in office because they're so old. You know, it's like, you know, they're dying to stay in power. You know, if I had the money that Mitch McConnell had, I'd say, screw this shit. I'm going home and play golf. Well, I don't play golf, but I'm going to enjoy my retirement. Instead, this fool gets voted in cycle after cycle and makes things worse. You know, the state of Kentucky's an economic disaster area. You know, I just don't get it. But, you know, you voted him in, you can live with them. The rest of us have to live with them because of your foolish mistake, but now this is going to turn off about 90% of my audience because I'm still ranting and raving about the Republicans, and I'm also ranting and raving about QAnon. Now these idiots are still at it. You know, I had said they probably would be, but there's an interesting revelation that came out that I had talked about months ago, if not more than a year ago, and that is that the source of QAnon are child pornography websites. It has been alleged for years that 4chan, 8chan, and all these weird websites are in fact sources of child pornography. And there's a number of people on Twitter that are starting to wake up to this fact and now are accusing high commands and task forces of being supporters of child pornography, which is likely true. Because, as I reported on an earlier video, and, well, thank you, Mr. Windshield Wiper, you just knocked my camera out of focus. Come on. Well, there we go. But, you know, these wild and wacky and stupid conspiracy theories continue to flourish. And it's a sad state of affairs that people just don't seem to have any common sense. That they continue to believe in nutty things. But, you know, there are a lot of nutty people out there wanting attention. And this is the way they get it. And then they come in and they whine on my small YouTube channel that I'm seeing everything wrong. I'm right about or wrong about everything. Kind of funny in a way. But I will point this much out. They seem to think my channel is important enough to come in and post this stuff. I had someone come in and post a video. I went over and looked at it and said, well, you know, once again, people aren't doing their homework because the source of the material wasn't a reliable one. More fake stuff. Come on there, camera. Every once in a while, I gotta force it back and forth because this is the disadvantage I'm gonna see. It's the disadvantage of having an autofocus in a phone because it reads the windshield wiper long enough to throw the thing out of focus. So I'm going to turn the windshield wiper off for a while. All I get is a mist. It's basically, for the time being, it's quit raining. The only thing I'm getting is I either get what I call road spray coming up from the road, the rain that's already fallen, or I get droplets coming down. So we'll go with that. I also have a bit of what I call the light twilight zone, where it's too bright not to wear sunglasses and not bright enough to wear them because the sunglasses make things a little bit on the dark side. But this is... I used to have a pair of sunglasses that weren't tinted quite so dark, that gave me kind of middle ground, but they broke. And a helpful hint is to buy sunglasses at Dollar Tree. They're only $1. They do the job, and if you break them, you're only out $1. So I usually buy about 5 pairs at a time, so if I break one pair, I got another pair on standby. And I do the same thing with my reading glasses. You know, so there are useful things at stores like Dollar Tree. So check them out. And no, Dollar Tree is not a sponsor. I don't have sponsors. You know, that's not really a commercial site, so I'm not worried about it. By the looks of things, it doesn't look like I'm going to reach my 1,000 people goal anytime soon. It's close. But people have this annoying habit of subscribing to the channel, and either they unsubscribe a few days later or other people unsubscribe. But I'm basically just kind of so near yet so far when it comes to reaching that 1,000 subscriber level. But I'm going to keep pushing it anyway. You know, it's something to do. As I start to evolve into different subject matter, the channel might grow a little bit. I'm probably, after today, not going to do the recorded videos as much or as long. As I've stated, it takes roughly an hour to make the drive to the airport. And one thing I have to do today is I found out that my flight out is going to be from a different terminal. And because of that, I got to park in a different location. So that's going to be interesting. I'll be parking at the new terminal, which is Terminal C. So I'll see how that one goes. Now, I noticed something else yesterday, that when I was editing the video, and it may happen here, is that the video broke into 2 different sections. It was recording along for about 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden it you saw a jump in the video. And the reason for that is because it recorded for 20 minutes, stopped, and then started recording again by itself, and it made two different files. Not sure why that happened. So what I wound up with is having to splice in the second half of the video into the first. And so that created a bit of a pop, because I think maybe about a minute or two of the previous video didn't get recorded. And so that would explain that one. People probably didn't notice it, but it was there. I noticed it because I'm the one that talked about it. And so there's that. Now the Tuesday Murtathon, which will start at 9 o'clock Eastern, is basically going to be just a general chat. You know, people can come in and chat, and as long as they're not abusive, I'm going to let them chat. Now, people come in and start talking about somebody laying on a bed in their underwear, they're going to be abruptly cut off. Now, what's interesting is I've been told that a new social media channel has been put up in the name of a dead guy. And I haven't checked it out yet because I've been a little bit busy, but I'm going to check it out before tomorrow and see what's there. It's probably going to be the same old nonsense that the dead guy used to write about when he was alive. Now, there are people that it says he's alive and well. Well, the problem with that is usually if somebody's alive and well, especially the personality type as this idiot, you see their face on the air, you see them doing things to where you know they're alive. That hasn't happened here. This guy's been out of sight and out of mind for a month, or for months, starting at the end of May. And here we are in the middle of November, or the first part of November at any rate, and this idiot still has not shown up on camera. So, you know, every day that goes by that we don't see this guy, he's a dead duck. And so, you know, that's one of the reasons I'm not going to be talking about him as much. Except every once in a while when a tidbit like this comes along, and some of the nonsense that I see on his various websites. And the websites created by his handler. They're spreading around a lot of insane conspiracy theories. They haven't quite figured out what they're going to do yet. They're jumped on the fraudulent election bandwagon, as have some people that comment on my YouTube channel. And, you know, people just don't know when to call it quits. To say, look, you lost. Give it up already. Go find something else to whine about. But, you know, this is going to continue for a couple months yet. I think this is a different year when it comes to the river denial. And so, you know, we're going to have to put up with 3 or 4 more months of these babies crying and throwing their little temper tantrums and saying, wah, 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 wah. We want our cookies. Well, you ain't going to get no damn cookies. You're fat enough already. And the funny thing is, I don't understand Donald Trump. Now, I remember rallies where he said he hates the job and all this stuff, and where he can do better on the outside than he can in the White House. So why doesn't he go do it? He's not accomplishing a damn thing with all this tweeting he's doing. I would pick up my golf bags, get my golf cart, and go golf. You know, go down to Mar-a-Lago, buy yourself a boat, and go for a cruise or something. I mean, retire, for Christ's sake. You only got a limited time on this planet. And you might as well quit wasting that time making a fool out of yourself on Twitter. And with these idiot rallies that don't accomplish a damn thing except sucking up taxpayer dollars like a vacuum cleaner because you're using a government airplane to go flying around. You know, go home. kick back in a recliner, eat a cheeseburger, read the newspaper, watch Fox News. Jeez. You know, take the easy way out, for God's sake. Now, we all know that the main reason that Trump is staying in power is because he doesn't want to go to jail. Because the minute he gets out of the White House, the subpoenas are going to be there, the handcuffs are going to be there, and Mr. Trump is going to wind up in court. And he's very well might wind up going to jail, as are the rest of his clan. Because the kids are just in about as much trouble, if not more, than he is. So, we're going to see what happens with that. Well, so far my commute to the airport is going pretty good. Just went floating by the police department here. And this is the 408 where I'm about to go under. Remember, we were here yesterday and you had a little bit different view of it. One way goes to Titusville, the other way goes to the Turnpike. So, we kind of work through this. I usually get one of these two lights. I managed to get through without getting the lights. And just come on there, little pickup. There you go. And he merges across. That's good. Out of my way. That's one thing when I do these Murt On The Trail series, you're going to see the damn thing, this damn same thing every day. Same road, same buildings, same everything else. There might be little differences from time to time. I'm either going to be driving in a driving rainstorm or it's going to be a nice sunny sky. Today it's kind of drab. It's, the rain quit, so now that the windshield wipers have quit doing their windshield wiping, the camera will stay in focus. At least I think it will. Because that's the one thing I found when I was doing the Chaos project, is the camera was relatively stable. Now, the mistake I made with the Chaos project is that I did not use an external microphone on the cell phone. I allowed the phone to pick up all the background noise, and the audio wound up being terrible. And part of the reason for that is I had intended on doing commentary after the fact instead of doing it during the fact. And it didn't work out that way. I should have done more testing before I went up there to improve upon the audio quality of the videos. Would have made life a lot easier, but maybe the next time I go up there and do another project, I'll do that. At the moment, there's no plans on doing any live streams when I'm bantering about, because a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm doing off the air, so to speak. Because there are things going on. But they're being done off the air. One, because I was asked not to talk about certain things, but other, because I simply don't have the time to rent a car, throw a camera on it, go around taking pictures, and then edit the pictures and stuff. These trips are 4 hours in the air, 4 hours doing what needs to be done. And that's it. It's approximately 2 hours of flying time to the various locations. I have about 2 or 3 hours to do what I need to do, and then another 2 hours coming back. Glad this is not costing me anything. I don't understand why they're doing it this way, but this is what they're doing. And what do we got in the middle of the road? I don't know, but it just, that was nice. I thought it was going to, somebody lost a bucket. One of those little pink buckets you can buy at Lowe's for $3 or $4. This one's orange. I don't know. It probably had stuff in it. And it decided to roll out in front of my car, so I just kind of bumped it out of the way. It's the kind of thing you wind up and seeing in the morning as you plod down this road. Yeah, if you do it slow enough, it doesn't damage your car. So, does wonders for the bucket. So far, traffic isn't too bad this morning. It's about a little bit better than normal. The pandemic has cut down considerably on traffic in Florida, and in Orlando in particular. So the progress that's being made is much, much more. I use as a benchmark the half-hour point. Where am I at the half-hour point of my run to work? And yeah, work all right. And it is working away, I suppose. Don't get paid for it, but it's work. And it's starting to rain again. But anyway, as I go to the airport, now I've lost my train of thought. Now, usually when this happens, I edit it out. When I lose a train of thought, or I make a mistake, or I sneeze and cough, and in a live stream like this, you really can't do it. So you guys are going to have to live with mistakes. You're also going to have to live with if this thing goes out of focus again. But it's not a heavy rain. It's that misty rain, and it's enough that you have to turn the windshield wiper on to whisk it out of the way. And if it does it often enough, it's gonna pop the camera out of focus on the phone. But so far, we're doing all right. Beep. Guess he wants to make sure nobody runs a red light. On this area of the trail, we have these older hotels, some apartments on the right coming up, and you won't see it too well because it's way back. There's a big flea market that's down here. Got a large scattering of pawn shops and the like. So, thanks for interesting sights. Americana Boulevard. Now, what's significant about Americana Boulevard, if you turn right here and you go about a half mile up the road, there's an apartment where a woman went missing years ago, and she's never been found. Her name is Jennifer Kessie. And it's one of these cold cases that they've never had a resolution to it. And the strange thing about that is the woman went missing, her car went missing, her car came back, but she never came back. And we had one or two more since then. We had one fairly recently where the woman went missing, but they found her in a retention pond. Followed up on the news stories to see if there's been a determination made. I just got a message on my phone. I don't know what that's going to entail. I may be running out of recording time. The timer's still going, so we still got a recording. But when I do the editing, I'll see what happens. The one thing I found is by doing it this way, my editing time is considerably faster. Because I can get this thing edited and then put it into rendering much quicker than the old way I had it doing it, because I'm not having to transfer multiple files. I just put it up. And I might even refine it further if I find it's productive just to throw the video up. a little different. And I'm okay, managing this more or less stay in focus, I guess. Okay, coming up on Oak Ridge Road. And this is just a little more than halfway to the airport. You start seeing signs for the airport at this point. Orlando International Airport, straight ahead. And the total video here is, we're 40 minutes into the video, so we're going to be hitting probably another hour again. But the interesting thing about this run, if you know, talking to people that I plan this stuff with, is that the excuse me, like I said, any coughs or sneezes probably going to wind up being in the video, but the plan seems to be to use parking lot Charlie. Don't know the logic behind that, because I still got to go into the main terminal. But this portion of what I'm doing requires the change. And, you know, can't get into too much detail as to why, because I don't give away. I want to give away the game, but it has to do to where I'm going. We just, when I was flying out of the main terminal, my destinations were handled better out of the terminal. But now that my destinations have changed, I'm having to change buildings. So now I'm going to be flying out of Terminal C. So that's great. You know, I still gotta go to the main terminal in order to get to Concourse C. But for whatever reason, they felt that having me park at Terminal C, because that's where everybody else is parking in our little group, that's what we're gonna do. You know, you have to understand the design of the airport to understand why I'm making a little bit of a deal about this, because by parking in Terminal B, parking, what we call a rooftop parking, it's a lot more convenient to get from point A to point B. When you park in Terminal C, even though you're having to wind up at the Terminal C concourse at some point, it's inconvenient. Actually, it's easier to get from Terminal C when you park on Terminal B. It's just the way the airport's laid out. So this is gonna require just a little bit of jumbling around. And okay, we'll see how long of a wait we got this time. We're at Silver Star Road and the trail, so I'll be leaving the trail at this point. Now I'm going to leave the video on for just a little bit longer, because probably you're going to see a little bit different view of the airport, because I've got to go down to the other end of the airport to get to my new parking space. Thank God they're not making me park in the outside parking. That would be a bummer. We did this earlier before we shut operations down because of the pandemic, and I would go into the economy park, and then I'd have to take this stupid little bus over to the main airport and then go from there. Oh, there's the W.D. Mason Products for the Workplace. Fancy little truck. I don't know if it's uniforms and shoes or what they sell. I'm going to have to check on that. And I used to know at one time what they did. There goes the milkman, Borden Dairy. Yeah, this is a long freaking light. Now down farther on the right is the Best Buy. I used to go down there and kill about 20 minutes or so. But now I use that 20 minutes to produce these videos before I go wheels up. Oh, Lordy. Florida Mall, next right. Florida Mall is a pretty good sized mall. We get a lot of foreign people that come here and buy up all the stores before they go back to their country. It's kind of funny. Yeah, hello, Mr. Sheriff. You know, commerce is a funny thing because all these products, they come in from China and all the Asian countries. We sell them in the stores, and people from South America come up here and buy all the stuff and take them back there instead of getting the stuff directly from China. And that's because there's taxation or something. I don't know what it is, that it's cheaper to come to the United States, buy all this crap, and go back to their home country than it is to buy the stuff directly from China. I've never understood that, but that's just, you know, we've worked that way for years. I don't know if it got screwed up with all the tariffs and everything, but that's the way it used to be. Of course, with this virus thing, it's made a mess out of the economy. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this year or next year. You know, 2020 is going to be one of those years that everybody, no matter what side of the coin they're on, is going to be glad to see go away. Because this has been a cluster from the word go. And 2020 started out bad, and it's going to end extremely worse. Kind of got fumbling around for words here, but it's going to be, we're going to end worse than we started. But hopefully, 2021 is going to rapidly be the year of improving things. It's definitely going to be the year of the court. It's going to be the year of a lot of stuff. Hopefully it's going to be a year of recovery, a year of the new hope to steal from Star Wars. And we can get more optimistic. The thing that surprises me, though, although it probably shouldn't, is how mean the Republicans are continuing to be. They have added sore loser to a new level. It's amazing how mad these people are that they lost. They just can't lose with dignity. They've got to sit there and dig in, and it's going to take a keg of dynamite to get them to budge and realize that, look, it's somebody else's turn to run the railroad. You know, eventually it's going to happen. They're going to be forced to do it. And one of the things that may force them into reality is a senatorial contest that's going on in the state of Georgia. There's actually two of them. There's two runoff elections coming up in January. And there's a possibility that the Democrats are going to be mad enough that they're going to come out like they did this time around, and we're going to wind up winning control of the Senate. And if that happens, it's game over, because Mitch McConnell will be out as majority leader, and a Democrat will be in, probably Chuck Schumer, to take over. Now, there are no guarantees for the Democrats that it's going to be all fat and happy, because the Democrats have a little bit of a problem this time around. It's the moderates versus the progressives. The progressives want to go as far left as they can possibly go, and the moderates want to stay just a little bit left of center. And so there's going to be a family feud as everybody jockeys for power. And the same thing happened to the Republicans early on, and they decided that for the sake of power, they were going to have to consolidate a little bit, and that's been the main reason they got a lot away with a lot of crap. But, you know, we're going to have to see what the Democrats decide to do. The problem with the Democratic Party is they are such a broad tent where they include everybody. It's a little difficult to come to some kind of unity in a lot of situations, and so there's going to have to be this hurdle to get over. But I think that the Democrats are going to realize this time around that it's too important with what needs to be done for there to be too much of the family squabbling going on, that they really need to come up with a way to do things through compromise. That they're not going to be able to go to the extremes. They're not going to be able to go to the extreme left. I mean, we may go left a little bit. How far left the Democrats go remains to be seen, but they can't go too far over it that way, because then there's going to be a lot of squabbling. There's going to be coalitions with the Republicans to contend with, and compromises, and the left may find that they're not as powerful as they thought. The same thing holds true, strangely enough, of the Republicans, because there's going to be division there. Because without Trump to hold a sledgehammer over the heads of these guys, they're going to say, you know, we've been embarrassed long enough. We're going to start compromising a little bit so we can at least get some stuff done instead of not getting anything done. Because the Republicans haven't been able to get their agenda through either. You know, Mitch McConnell held things up for the Democrats. There's hundreds of bills laying on his desk that he will not bring to the Senate floor, even for debate. He won't put it up for a vote. He won't do anything. It just sits there. And they're in control. See, Republicans could have done a lot because they're in control, but they won't. Now, there's going to be a reckoning because the Democrats are going to be more powerful whether they control the Senate or not. And if some of these senators want to remain in power in 2022, they better start going to work. So it's going to be something to watch there, to see what the Republicans are going to do when the new Congress is sworn in after January. And, of course, we've got QAnon. You know, we got a couple of their nitwits that managed to get in. I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish, but they're there. They're going to do their thing, try to keep this dead movement alive, and until they're voted out. You know, the House works a little different than the Senate, so I don't think the Q turds are going to be around that much. And the QAnon movement is still surviving. They'll probably be around for a little while, not a whole long time, but they'll be there for a little bit. They'll be their little squeaky wheel, as it were. So, Alright, now the fun begins. I'm still going in this way because I'm too cheap to pay the $2 toll, $1.50 toll, dollar quarter, whatever it is. So we're going to take Bear Road and take the perimeter. I can't wait until I start coming back over to Citation. It's a little easier to leave out of here than it is to go to the main terminal, but this is the way I want to set things up for right now. The other thing about Citation is this is where I sprained my ankle a couple of years ago when my foot grabbed the cable support to the little stepway that comes popping down out of the Citation. Man, that hurt like hell for 2 months. And I still had to keep climbing in and out of that thing. That was an adventure for 2 months, contending with that. You know, and the funny thing, sometimes you park over Terminal C and then you wind up over here. But it's not here, so it's got to be over on the other side. You know, why they, you know, I'm kind of confused as to why they went over there and how they managed to get away with it. But, you know, I'm not the one that plans this stuff. So. But that right there is the toll road. And if it shows up in the picture, there's a little flashing arrow, and that's where you would go in to go to the airport if you wanted, you know, a little bit quicker. You know, and pay the tolls, get off at the 436 exit, and instead of hanging a left, you hang a right and go down into the main terminal. As I said the other day, I leave early enough so that I've got buffer time, you know, because I still got to go through TSA and some other stuff. So, you know, you got to get all that out of the way. You know, that's a good thing about having this quick thing that you pay for where you just zip through. It's still a little time consuming, but you get through the pre-check pretty quickly. And there's things you don't have to do. I don't have to take my shoes off. Don't have to put things up on the belt as much. You know, so you get a little bit of a break. You know, and I try to carry as little as possible when I go through the airport. Makes life a whole lot easier. Now, somebody asked me an interesting question the other day in chat. They asked if I was an air marshal. And no, I'm not. This has nothing to do with the government. You know, this has nothing to do with that. I'm not an air marshal. I'm not a United States marshal. I'm not certain things. You know, this is something entirely different that I'm doing. You know, and I'm, you know, the number one thing you need to understand is I'm not getting paid for what I'm doing. This is just something I'm doing. I mean, yes, my expenses might be paid to some extent, but I'm not getting paid a salary. I'm not, you know, I don't have a job that has me flying all over the place. It's just something that needs, you know, something that I'm doing. And I can't go into much detail about what it is I'm doing, but it just requires me to do a lot of going from here to there and everywhere, and to do it 2 hours at a time. 2 hours out, 2 hours back, 2 hours in between, give or take. And we tried doing this without people whizzing around, and it was inconvenient at best. We were able to do it, but it was a pain in the ass. Things go much smoother when we make these short little trips. And it's just, you know, economically for the people with the purse strings, it works out better this way. Now, I probably should have. Well, what I'm going to do is this is what we do is we go. Gonna do kind of like a merry around the maypole here. It's gonna add about 5-10 minutes to my time as I get ready to go to Terminal C instead of going to Terminal B. I'd like to kill whoever came up with this bright idea. But, you know, I still get my Coke and peanuts, so I don't care. Actually, in this case, it's going to be a little more than Coke and peanuts because they're supplying a lunch on the plane. Nice of them. Dum, 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 dum. This thing keeps trying to figure out why it's not raining. I don't have the windshield wiper going, and every once in a while this thing tries to go out of focus. Now this is a hairy merge here. I don't like this merge, but because you know they have a relatively slow speed limit, and it's supposed to help you merge, but people don't know. Okay, thank you. Come on, I gotta. Running it. Oh, you miserable little crazy people. Whew. This is not the best designed road in the world getting over. Jump 6 lanes to get over here. Alright, I gotta go over a little more because I gotta get ready for the south exit. But basically, we're going to make one big circle around the terminal, and then we're going to go to the C concourse. And it's raining again. But at least it's terminal top parking. Now, when I went up to Minnesota, I had to park in economy parking, and I got soaked the one night that I came back. Oh, it's coming down good now. This is gonna do wonders for the focus. You know, this is supposed to be part of this tropical storm. I really haven't been keeping too close track. So... here we go. South exit to Terminal C. And this is one of the newer trams coming up. That's the one I'm going to have to take to get back over here. This is extremely annoying. Alright, over we go. Okay. And you got to go right, and you got a left arrow. Oh, this is cute. Oh! Love it. Now, I don't know why the hell that thing was there. But it was. Dum 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 dum. Do, 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 do. Oh, it's over here. Plane's over here. All right. Well, that means I'll be taking the. They have a little bus that they run across the thing to get over here. Now, this is the new terminal. This is one thing about parking over on this side of the airport. You get to see the new terminal. This airport. This part of the airport's going to open next year. And I'm going to come over here one of these days and I got time. I'm going to do a little sightseeing. But they made considerable process. They were actually going to have a railroad come through here. And that railroad is going to come out of Miami. And it's going to bring passengers up here to the new terminal for flights out. Alright, whoa. Alright, I gotta figure this out. I'll be right back. Okay, I had to make sure that we were not having a problem with the recording and trying to figure this out. But this is Terminal C. We do the same thing here we do at Terminal B. We just keep climbing. And this is going to be a little bit different because I got to figure out where all the elevators are. At least now I can turn the winch off. This is anybody that's parked in an airport and had a parking garage. This is just like any other parking garage, except for this one's relatively new. It's been up for a couple of years. And parts of it aren't done yet, like this level here. And so we're just going to keep climbing. I like to park up on the top levels as much as I can. It's a me thing. The lower decks are usually full. And so we go up and up and up and up and up. And we keep going up. And here the top level is out in the open, so when it's raining, you get wet. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go up and I'm going to try and park closest to the elevators that'll take us down to the train. Now, I'm not going to include the train in this recording. I may put up a short video of the train if I get in a proper place to take pictures of it. Okay, so this is the thing I like about this level. There is absolutely nobody up here. And so I'm going to go over here because this is where the elevator is. They got two elevators, and so I'm going to try and find the nearest elevator, and I'm going to park in the elevator. Close to it as I can get. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. It looks like I can go up here and park. Okay, folks, this is the end of the run. This is William K. Murt Witness 1. Until the next time I see you guys, which will probably be on the marathon, have a good one.